Hello everyone, welcome to Techies. In this video, we are going to talk about ASP.NET Core Web API with authentication and entity framework. So many features was there. We are going to see all the topics are step by step. First, we are going to create on the basic application. Let me go to Visual Studio 2019 and file, new, create the project. So here I am selecting ASP.NET Core Web API. My project name is Customer API. I changed the path. So the application creation will take some time. So once it's created, we are going to add the entity frameworks and then we are going to implement the JWT authentication. The JWT authentication is token based, so we are creating the refresh token, and finally we are going to implement the role based authentication also. So for the web API, the Swagger is the main features. Like if you are implementing the Swagger, it will provide the feasibility for the testing. So we are going to implement that also. And then we are going to enable the CORS cross origin resource sharing the functionality. Finally, we are going to deploy our application in the IIS server. Let me see the application is created. First to see our folder structure. So here we don't have any config file. So the configuration related things, everything added in the app settings.json, and one program file was there, that is the initializing the page and the startup page. Here also we are going to add more configuration related stuffs only. Then the weather forecast, this is defaultly generated model, it's not required, we can remove this one. And controller also, it has one default control, weather forecast controller, it's also not required, we can remove. So this launch settings.json, this page contains the information for application initial running related things. So the application we may add a number of packages that all comes under the dependencies. So let me do some changes. First I'm going to remove the default models and the controllers. Let me create my controller, add controller API. So my controller name is customer controller. So I'm going to change the name as customer. Okay, this is created. Now I'm going to change the route. This API is not required. And I need to change the startup. Startup initially was weather forecast. So we deleted this controller. So we added this one. So make it this customer as the default starting point. We created our application successfully. Now I'm going to add the entity framework. For the entity framework, we have two approaches. One is database first approach, another one is code first approach. So here I am going to follow the database first approach. For that I have the SQL server. I created one database lan_db. It has three tables. One is customer and another is table user for authentication. The last one is refresh token for storing the refresh token related information. So I'm going to the application. I'm going to add the dependencies. So first one is Microsoft Entity Framework Core. So the current stable version is 6.01, but 3 is enough. We can install it. Okay, this is added. Next, we need to install the tools. Microsoft Entity Framework Core .tools. This one also same. At last, we need to install the SQL Server. Microsoft Entity Framework Core .SQL Server. Here also I'm going to select the version 3.1. So okay, fine. Now the packages are installed. Now I'm going to open the package manager console. Here I have the scaffold command that will generate the models for the entity framework. So this is the command scaffold db context. So here we need to pass our connection string information like server and database and credentials. Finally, need to pass the provider, the SQL provider. So then the output directory where actually the model files are get generated. I am given the models. So currently we don't have the models, so it will create the model folder. Inside it will make all the classes. So I'm going to give enter. It will take some time and it will generate all the model files. If you are familiar with the .NET framework, there we supposed to use the EDMX file. But in the .NET Core application, we don't have the EDMX. So everything we can use from the class files. Okay, fine. See the model folder. It will generate the DB context, and also we have three tables, so it generate the models for everything. Now I am going to the LAN DB context. If I see here, the connection string is get added, but this is not the correct way to have the connection string in the CS file. We have to move in the app settings file. So now I'm going to create the connection string here. Okay, inside the connection string, we have to give our connection string name. So I given just a const string. So the value is whatever generated in the DB context. So I have to copy. I need to paste it here. So now the whatever code is generated here, I can remove. So now connection string be added. Now let's go to the startup page. There we have to register our DB context. Then only we can use everywhere in the application. For that, I'm going to add in the services, add DB context. So my DB context is LAN DB. So it belongs to, so I need to add the namespace, customer API and models, LAN DB context. So here I'm going to create the lambda expressions. Use. Okay, we need to add some namespace here. Using Microsoft. Okay, fine. So use SQL Server. Inside we have to pass our connection string. Okay, fine. We have done. Now I'm going to our customer controller. Here I'm going to inject the LAN DB context in order to I can access the database tables. For that I'm going to create one constructor. The public constructor is created. Okay, fine. First I need to declare it. Okay, fine. And here also we need to pass it. Now I need to set value for the context. Now see over the first get method, it will return some static value. Instead of that, we are going to return value from actual database. I am using the same context here. Dot table customer to list of. And also I'm going to change the string to table customer. So the method is fine. We can just run our application and see the output. See our API is running and it will return all the values from the customer table. So let me try from the Postman also. So get method initially it's not required any input, so it is returning all the values. So that means our entity framework is working fine. So initially we implemented for the get method the similar way we can implement for the post, put and delete methods. For time being I'm going to do all the things little later. So I move on the next topic. Next is authentication. So authentication in the ASP.NET Core Web API application, we can use the basic authentication, and another one is JWT token based authentication. Here I am going to follow the JWT token based authentication, and also I am going to implement the refresh token and role based authentication concept also. Let me start from the JWT. Here I am going to create one more new controller. This is the empty controller. I am going to give the name as user, and I'm going to create one method name is called authenticate. So the method is post method, and I am also going to set the route value authenticate. Okay, fine. Here also the controller is enough, the API is not required, so we are good to go. This authenticate method going to generate the token. For generating the token, we need the input, username and password. For the information, I'm going to create one class, public string username. The same way I'm going to add the password also. So input is from body, user create, using customer API dot models. Okay, fine. And also generating the token, we need one secret key. So I'm going to set here so name is JWT settings. First I need to create one section. Inside the section I'm going to create the value security key. This is my secret key. Okay, fine. For accessing this key I'm going to create one model. The same name whatever the section is created. Here I'm going to have one property also, the secret key. Public string get and set. Fine. Now I'm going to register this JWT settings key in the startup page. Then only I can inject in the user controller. Based on that I can use it. For that I'm going to declare one variable JWT setting equal to configuration dot get section. So I need to pass the value key value JWT settings. Now I'm going to add it in the service dot configure JWT settings underscore JWT settings. Okay, fine. We have added everything. Now let me go to the user controller. So here I am going to inject the DB context and also the JWT key. The same way I'm going to create one constructor here also. Let me declare the db context. So I'm doing the copy paste, and one more thing is JWT settings. For that I can have the name settings. That is fine. The db context, LAN db, and IE options. So it's showing some error. We need to add the namespace. Okay, fine, added. Share JWT settings. Okay, options. Now we need to set all the values here. Context equal to LAN db and settings equal to options dot value. Okay, fine. Now our db context and the settings was there. First, I'm going to validate with the database based on our credentials. User equal to context dot table user. First our default. So here I'm going to use the lambda expressions. So unique value is user ID. So our input name is username. Same way we have the password, user dot password. If credentials are matching, it is having the value. If it's not matched, the value is null. So the credential is not matched means we supposed to return unauthorized. Okay, great. If credentials are matching, we supposed to create the token. For generating the token, we have the set of codes. So I'm adding here. I'm going to explain step by step also. First, we are declaring our token handler. So this is from JWT security token handler. For that, we have to install the system.identitymodel.tokens.jwt. So I'm going to install it. So it will take some time. It's being installing. Okay, fine, it's installed. Next, we have the token key. The token key we already have in our configuration file. So what we need to convert in the byte format. So it's available in the settings.secret key. Okay, fine. Finally, the descriptors. It is very important one. Here only we are setting the claims and the token expiry time and signing credentials, everything. So it comes under the identity models dot tokens. Now claims under security claims. Okay, fine. So here I am added the claim type is name and also giving the value as user ID. So whatever our unique values we supposed to set here. Then token expiration time just 2 minutes. If required, we can increase and give the value also. Then signing credential. Signing credential, we have to pass the token key and also the algorithm. I am providing the algorithm HM SHA-256. If required, we can change that also. It's fine. So now we have the handler token key descriptor. Based on that, we can create our token and finally we can write in the string format. So we have to follow these steps. So now our token is available. Let me return the token. So this is the first step. Now I am going to implement the authentication. For that I am going to the startup page once again. Before the use authorization, I'm going to add use authentication. Okay, we are good to go. And also on the customer side, I'm going to add the attribute authorize. Okay, again it's fine, but we need to add the namespace core authorization. Okay, fine. Finally, we need to register our JWT authentication in the startup page in the service side. For that also we have the setup code I'm going to add and I will explain. Okay, this is the section we added. See, first one is the authentication key. The whatever key is available in the app settings.json. So we are getting like this. So it's the key available in the section of JWT settings. It's under the name is secret key. So in the auth key we have the actual secret key. And also we have to install one package. Let me install it. If we go here and we have to search the JWT, it will come a JWT barrier or something like that. Yeah, the Microsoft ASP NETCore authentication.jwt barrier. So this one also take the latest, not the latest version. So 3.1 is much enough. Okay. Okay, it's installed. So in the services we are adding the add authentication and we are setting the default authentication scheme and the default challenge scheme. Both are the same JWT barrier default authentication scheme. So we need to add this namespace also. It's fine. The second step is add JWT barrier. Next in the JWT barrier side require HTTP metadata it's true. Then save data also true. The token validation parameters. So to the token validation parameters, here we are passing our keys and everything. So encoding required the namespace issue. Fine. So validate issuer signing key. Yes. Then issuer signing key. Whatever the security key was there, we supposed to pass it here. And validate issuer and validate audience is not required. So now we have done our configuration related changes. Let's verify how it's working. Okay, I'm going to the Postman and try to hit the method. It's showing 401 unauthorized. So we need to generate our token first. So the token generation method was post method and the URL is user/authorize. Not authorize, authenticate. And also we have the input. So input in JSON format. So there are two input. One is username. Username is admin user and our password is admin. Yeah, now we are good to go. Let me execute the method. Okay, it's generated the token. If I giving the invalid credentials, it will return the unauthorized only. Okay, we are give the final. Okay, let me take this token and I'm going to extract and I will show you. For that, we have one site jwt.io. Okay, here I'm pasting here. So the every token has three areas. One is for header and another one is payload. Final one is the signature area. So if you see here, whatever algorithm we used and the JWT is the type. And if you see the payload side, the unique name is admin user. The user ID, whatever we are given the credential, we added in the claim section, it comes here. And the expiry time and also the token issued time, the token creator time and also expiry time and also it will when it will get going to expire. That all the information was there. Finally the secret key. So the secret key So whatever value if I am giving here, it will change automatically. So we provided our secret key. So based on that, it will generate something. But if required, we can change here also. Okay, fine. Now we are going to authenticate our customer services from this key. Not a key, it's a token. For that, I am coming here the header section. I am going to this key side, the authorization, the value bearer on space, then our token. Let me send in the request. So the service is returning the values. So our JWT token based authentication is working fine. Now the refresh token. Why the refresh token? When we are generating the our JWT authentication, we have set it some time expiration time. Okay. Next time the user want to use same the application means they have to give the credential once again. Instead of that, they have to use the refresh token concept. So let me explain how to use this refresh token concept. For that, I'm going to create one model. So token response .cs. So it has two properties. One is our actually JWT token and another one is refresh token. Get set refresh token. Fine. And also I'm going to create one interface. So interface is refresh token generator. Also I'm going to make it as a public, and it has only one method, string generate token with the input of string username. Okay, got it. And also I'm going to create one more class. I'm going to inherit the interface. It's showing the error, so we have to implement the method. Okay, it's fine. I'm going to copy and add some lines. Okay. Basically, this is the method randomly generate some kind of string. We will use this is our refresh token. So random number generator. So we need to add the namespace. Fine. At the end, we can return it. Now there is no error. But the one more thing, whenever we are created the refresh token is for particular user only. So we have the table called table refresh token. There we need to update the information. See, this is our table. It gives the information of user ID and token ID, refresh token and is active. So if already have an refresh token, we have to update it. If there is no token, we have to insert the record. So I can make some logics here. For that, we have to use the databases here. So I'm going to do the injection once again. First, I'm going to add the namespaces, models. Fine. Sorry for the inconvenience. private read only, db context equal to context. This is the same thing only. So our constructor is the public constructor. Len db context. So this is the len db. So make sure the context equal to len db. First I'm going to check whether it has any records already. So the same context dot table refresh token at first are default, user id equal to username. And also I'm going to check whether it has the record or not equal to null. That means it contains the information, so I have to update the refresh token. That's enough. Double equal to refresh token dot save changes. Okay, fine. If it's not there, we have to do the insert table refresh token, new table refresh token, and the first value is user id. User id and our username both are same. Next, the token id. Token id, we are going to generate some random number. That's enough. Dot next. So this will generate some random number. Then refresh token. So whatever the token recently we have generated, that we going to add here. Finally is active. It's always true. On the real-time logic, we can make false also based on the situations. So okay, fine. We have implemented. Now, if we want to use these interfaces in our application, we have to configure in the startup page. Then only we can inject and we have to use it. So for that, I am coming to the service side once again. Services dot add singleton. Add a singleton. Our interface means I refresh token generator. So provider new refresh token generator. So here we need to pass our DB context as the input. So whatever the DB context is already added in the services, we have to take and we have to pass it here. Bar underscore DB context equal to services dot build service provider dot get services. The service is LAN DB context. So I make it as a method. So now we have the DB context here. I'm going to pass. This is the input here. So we have done for the refresh token generator logics. Now I'm coming to the user controller side. Here I'm going to create the refresh method. Before that, I'm going to do some changes in our authentication method. Here also I'm going to return the token and also refresh token. So we have created one class token response. So token response equal to I'm going to create an object for it. I'm going to take this class. Instead of final token, I'm going to return this object. Now we need to set the values. There's two values. One is the JWT token. JWT token is our final token. And another one is refresh token. So refresh token, we have the interface I refresh token generator. So I'm going to inject here private read only I refresh token generator equal to token generator. The same way I'm going to pass here also I refresh token. Finally, the token generator equal to underscore refresh token. We have done our changes. So this is the object. It has the method generate token and also one input. So the input we have already as the input. So user dot username. The similar way we are going to create the refresh method also. So the method name is refresh. I'm going to change here also. Here the input is token response because so it requires two inputs. One is JWT token and also the refresh token. So we added both in the token response. So that's fine. And first here also I'm going to return OK. The same way we have to declare the token handler here also. Now we need to validate our token in order to we can get the principal token handler dot validate token. So first we need to pass our token JWT token. So that one is from JWT token. And the second one is token validation parameters. Token validation parameters. At the last one is the out parameter. Security token. So here I'm going to give one security token. I'm going to pass it here. Okay, fine. At the same time, the token validation parameters have some inputs. The things whatever we added in the startup page, the same thing only. I'm just going to copy and paste everything here. Okay. Here the authentication key is required. So our authentication key is available under settings dot security key. Now we have the token. This security key is JWT security token. So here I'm going to check this token equal to not null and the token algorithm token dot header dot algorithm of equals security algorithms dot hamsa 256. If it's not, this is an error, so we have to return unauthorized, or else we can return the exceptions also, throw some exception. So I did like that. Next thing, we have to validate from our databases. So whatever the refresh token is coming as the input, whether it's valid or not, we need to check from our table. Ref table equal to context dot table refresh token. First our default user ID. So we can get from our user name from our principal dot identity dot name. Here we will get our username actually. So we can pass it here. The same time, the token refresh token is coming as the input. Okay, we are good to go. Ref table double equal to null. If this is null, mean also it's unauthorized, or else we can throw the exception. If all fine, we can generate our new token. So we already have the claim information in the principal and also the username, and the security key also it's available. Based on that, we have to create our JWT token and the refresh token. For generating these things, I am going to create one more method. So I am going to create the method overloading here. Token response. So authenticate. Okay, it has actually two inputs. One is username and another one is claim. Claim and make sure I'm going to create an object and return back. Here we have to implement our logic. Meanwhile I can complete the refresh action method. Here everything is okay. Then the token response result equal to authenticate. Here we already have the username and the claims it's available in the principals dot to array. It's all fine. Finally I'm going to return here. For generating the token, so I'm going to copy paste some kind of code. See, the same way the token handler we are initializing, and we are passing the values claims, so we are getting claims as the input, and token expiry time again we are setting 2 minutes, and signing credentials. So signing credentials and also algorithm, the signing credential should be byte value only. So I'm going to make it as a byte. So we have the codings already. So the encodings dot utf dot get bytes. So in the settings, we already have the security key I'm using here. So this part also we have done. Finally, the token response. Here I'm added the JWT token. Now we need the refresh token once again. That is not the biggest deal because we have everything is created. So we can simply use it. Sorry for the inconvenience. Token response dot refresh token equal to token generator dot generate token and our username as the input. Now we are good to go. Let me verify from the Postman. I'm coming here, the authentication. Now I'm creating the token. So it will generate two set of values. One is the JWT token and also the refresh token. Okay, it's fine. Now we need to verify our refresh token method. So here also it's a post method only. Instead of authenticate, I can use refresh. But the input is same way. So it's a JSON format only. If I go here, one is JWT token and another one is refresh token only. So the same response we already got here. I am going to copy and paste it here. I tried to execute the method. So it will created one new token and also new refreshed token also. If I go to and check the table, so see the name BV6F, and if I'm trying to execute once again, so the next time the whatever we given, it's not valid. So I'm trying to run, it is showing unauthorized. So I'm going to give actual token. So it generated the token. Now see our refresh token value is KIK. So it's updated. So in this way only our refresh token is working for every time period. Now I'm going to explain the role-based authentication. So for that, explaining the role-based authentication, in the table actually I have two set of credentials. Select star from table user. We already seen the admin user and admin is the password. The same way we have one more credential, demo user, demo user and password is demo. Here I set two roles, one is admin and another one is user. Okay, now I'm going to the customer controller. Here I am setting roles. Here I am setting admin. At the same time, when I generating the token, in the client side, I'm just added the user ID only. Now I'm going to add one more value. The value is client type role. So in the table we have the role value also. I'm added here. The same way I'm going to add in the refresh token side also. I think it's not required. Okay, it's fine. Now I'm added the admin role only. I'm trying to run the application and we can verify from our Swagger itself. Not a Swagger, from the Postman side we can verify it. Now I'm coming here and I'm going to generate the token once again with the credential of admin user and admin. For this role is actually admin only. It's not an issue. If I comes here, I am going to pass the key value. So it will return all the values. The similar way, I am going to generate the token with the demo user and password also demo. So this one also will generate the token because our credentials are valid. If I give some invalid credentials, it does not create the token at all. It will show the 401 error. If our credential is valid means it will generate the token. But using this token, I am trying to access the method. So it's blocking, it's showing the 403 forbidden. So the request is legal. That means the request is valid only, but it's not allowed to access the particular method. So we are blocking based on the rules. Now I am implemented for the whole controller. The similar way we can do for the individual methods. So in the real-time scenarios, we may give the access for the get methods, but if I comes with an post method or delete, we may block some uses. So in that scenario, we can achieve. So now we covered the role-based authentication also. Now we are going to implement the Swagger. Why the Swagger is required? So when we added Swagger in our WebAPI application, it will provide some kind of UI related things. So in the UI, we can see what are the services was available. So what type of input it will accept, and also we can execute the methods, and it provides some testing feasibilities. Let me show how to implement this one also. First, we need to add one package here, swashbuckle, something like that. Okay, so swashbuckle.asp.net.core. So the first one, so I'm going to install it. So when I installing this one, it will install the Microsoft OpenAPI and also Swagger generator, Swagger UI. All the things are included. Okay, it's fine installed. Now we have to do some changes in our startup side. First, we need to add in the service side Swagger generator. So this is the code. Okay, it's showing some error. We need to add it OpenAPI models. That's fine. And this is our API and descriptions, the title and versions. If we have some real data, we can add here also. And one more changes was there in the app side. So in the app side, we have to add use Swagger and use Swagger UI and API. The important thing is, if you are giving this name, this is actually our API name. Whatever name you are providing here, the same name you are supposed to use it here also. Otherwise, this application will throw some error. Okay, fine. The state changes was done. Let's run and verify whether how it's come. Okay, here I'm going to change Swagger. Okay, fine. It's showing some error because the Swagger UI is loaded, but it has some error. I'm going to check my user controller. See here, actually we have three methods, but the two are returning values. But this authenticate method is not an action method. We are just created for our internal purpose. So make sure it's not an action method. If any method have this kind of error also, it's not an error, but when the Swagger is running time, it will consider all are the action methods. Okay, it's always run with default URL. Okay, fine. Now see our customer method. It has all the types like get, post, and put, delete, and the user method two post methods. So both are we only created. Let me run. See, this is a post method. So input type is JSON, and we have all the types. And what is the input type actual format? If I come here, so admin, user, and admin. So see the same way the tokens are generated. Similar way the get methods. Like if I click the get method, it will show there is no input, but it will show what is actual output format. So the customer has the entities like ID, name, email, and phone number. So this is the reason why we are using the Swagger. Okay, fine. Now we are going to enable the cars. The cars means what? The cars is cross-origin resource sharing. If you are not enabling cars in your application, when you are trying to consume in your service in some other application, it's not allowed to access. So we have to enable the cars. So enabling the cars, we need to install one package. So CORS. Okay, this one. Microsoft ASP NETCore.cors. I'm going to just install it. And also we have to add some changes. See, use cors, and we are giving like allow any origin, allow any method, allow any header. There is no more restriction for in this scenario. So we can use the with the origins test.com. So that means our service is able to access only in the test.com only. It cannot be accessed in the any other domains. Similar way we can restrict for the methods and headers also. But as of now, I am going to make it is access for everywhere. Okay, fine. This is all about cars. Finally, I am going to deploy in the IIS server. For deploying the service, the same way whatever we are doing for the any .NET application, we have to create the build first. Let me publish it. I am going to create one profile for it, folder, and I am going to set some path. Publish build deployment API core. Finish it, and so here all the things are loaded. What is the target path and the configuration, runtime, delete existing files. We have to make it is the true because this is the first time. So if I'm creating the build for next time, I'm not going to create all the uh, what is called the profile related activities. The same profile already is there. I'm going to use it. So whatever the existing data I need to delete, and I recreate all the files. So I make it like this. So now I am going to publish it. Okay, it will take some time and it will get the publish completed. Okay, fine. The publish is completed. Let me go to the actual folder. Here, build deployment, ASP.NET Core. So whatever files are here, I'm just to copy everything. In the deployment side, we have the folder Web API Core. Okay, it's all pasted here. So now our build is completed. Let me open the IIS server also. Before doing the IIS server setup, we have to install one package that is called Windows Hosting Bundle. So this is the first link. So here is the download link. So we have to download this package and install in our machine or server. So I'll provide the link also in the description. You have to use it. Now I am coming to the IIS side. Here I am going to create the website. So name is customer API, and what is the physical path? The physical path landing, deployment, core. So port number 80 mostly used, so we can use the 84, and I'm trying to queue OK, and now I'm going to the Apple. So the customer API. So here if I see the CLR version is 4.0, now I'm going to change it. Basic setting. So make it is no managed code. Now I am trying to run my application. Let me give swag. So see, the application is deployed in port number 84 and it's running. It will show all the customers and the users information. So this is the way we have to do our deployment. So we have completed over all the topics. Hopefully everything is clearly understood for you peoples, and still if you have any clarifications, please post in the comment box. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe us and support. Thank you.